Hi, now we're going to look at the iDS6 software. We're going to look at a demand campaign by itself. So we've briefly touched on loop campaigns and a loop and demand campaign working together. You don't need to have a loop campaign for a demand campaign to work. You can have it running by itself. Again, I preface this with you need to have the A1 license to use the on-demand, and you must have a touch screen because the functions are part of the touch screen functionality. So if you only have the A0 license or you don't have a touch screen, then you can only do a loop, and you can use an insert within that loop campaign. So I'm just going to show you one of the demos that I did for another customer. So this is a demand campaign that essentially is 5 websites or 5 programs, and each program has a website associated with it, and then at the top of each of these programs there is a link to the other websites or to the other programs. So if I show you the first one, Tire Tracks, and we show you the layout, you can see we've got the layout of the web is the main part of the page, and that is under content is linked to the Tire Tracks website, and then you'll see at the top I have basically 4 text boxes, and these text boxes are named with the other 4 websites, and then this name here is just for the layout page. It has nothing to do with what's displayed under the content, but you'll see under each one I've named it, and then I've linked it to that program within the on-demand campaign. So if you click on the BGW text, it is linked to go to the BGW program within the domain campaign, and it'll switch to that website. So if we go there now and we go to the BGW, you'll see under content that website is now the Big World Wheels website, and then under layout we have the remaining 3 websites that were in the first program, and also the original website from that program as its own link. And again, each one of those are linked back to its represented program, so when you click on that link it goes to that program and displays that website. Now within the programs themselves, I've set up an idle state for 300 seconds or 5 minutes, and then it will exit. So what that means is if you click on any one of the links, it will go to that link, you will view that website, and you can interact with that website. But once you stop interacting with that website, or it becomes in an idle state, then after 5 minutes it will exit that program and go back to the original Tire Tracks program that's at the start. So when you exit that program, it will go back to the first program. So any of these 4 programs here, and including the Tire Tracks one, if it's been interacted with for any reason, it will then exit out and go back to the original state of that program. So that's the first page of the website. So if you've been interacting with page 2, page 3, page 4, it will after that 5 minutes go back to the original first page so that you can start again. Now you could have, for argument's sake, instead of it going to another website, you could have another program down there, and that program could be a slideshow and a video. Now when we're looking at this these states here, so you'll see idle state play 1 loop exit is another option, and idle state loop play always. So in the website side of things where we've got here, there is no loop. It doesn't play anything for a length of time. The website just stays there until you start interacting with it. But if you had a slideshow and a video, for argument's sake, and the slideshow was set to go for 2 minutes and then repeat, and the video was 4 minutes long, it would play the slideshow twice, play the video once, and because once the video has played once, that is 1 loop, it will then exit and go back to the first program within the loop demand. If you wanted that to stay on that page, then you would idle state loop always. So once it's idle, it will just keep looping on that program until some other interaction happens. So those gives you those three options. Now once you've created all that, so you need to create your programs to link to before you can link to them. So you want to go through and create all of the different pages that you want to have. Then you can start linking content within the pages to the additional pages. Once you've done all that, it's just a simple case of going to player, choosing the player or players that you want to upload this to, and go to campaign. Now you see this has already got a loop campaign and a demand campaign from the previous video. Now a demand campaign can't work by itself if there is a loop campaign in this area here. So we need to enter in an empty campaign to make that empty so that it will go start by default under the demand campaign. So I've created an empty campaign, which is literally just a campaign with no programs in it. And so we bind that to the player. Then we bind our newly created campaign, a tie tracks campaign. We bind that to the player, and then that's it. That's done. So that'll play. It'll play the tie tracks layout player first. So it'll play the tie tracks website here, and you can start interacting with it. But once anything has been idle for more than 5 minutes, it will then default back to this page. And that's all you need for a demand campaign.